Here's the final game of the candidates match in 1991 between Vishy Anand and Alexei Dreev. Uh, After splitting, um, uh, the games between the first three games, with the Anand winning the first, draw in the second, and Dreev winning the third game, Anand has won two straight and basically, won the match for all intents and purposes. So this is the last game. This will be game six. Anand has the white pieces, Dreev the black pieces. Game started off as the French, and this is where the battle has been contested when Drev has the black pieces. And again, there's classical variation, which is played um, in game four. B6, knight a4, check. This is all well known. And now g5, again aimed at undermining the e5 square. Another move, b6, had been tried. Bishop d3, bishop a6, knight bd2, knight c5, bishop takes a6, queen takes a6, and then the move a4 had been looked at by John Nunn. This move g5 is very powerful as it attacks the idea of white trying to build up this powerful pawn center, and leads to a very sharp position. So knight bd2, g takes, knight d3, and now b6. King f2, bishop a6, knight f3, and now rook c8. Knight takes f4, and knight c5, g3, d3, Drev, bishop d3, knight takes d3 check, knight takes d3, and now queen a3. So for the sacrifice piece, black, has two pawns, and he has quite a bit of activity for his pieces, and the white king is somewhat exposed. So he definitely has compensation here. But there's a lot of play left. So queen b2 check, king g1, and rook c2. Queen a3, desperately trying to keep the attack going. Knight e1. Now rook b2. Anand says rook takes a2, rook takes, queen takes h3. May have been black's best try. And he just goes on to say the position is extremely double-edged, which is what we said already. It's very, very funky, sharp position, especially if you're black and need a win. This is the type of position you want to be in. A couple of pawns for the piece is real imbalanced. The king is exposed, the white king that is, and then you have, a lead in development. So rook b2, rook c1. It's understandable too that Drev doesn't want to trade pieces, so he doesn't play rook takes a2. So now queen takes a2, and knight h5. And now Drev was in some time trouble here. So Anand says in time trouble, this is an extremely annoying move, and Drev quickly bashed out queen b3. He plays queen b3 here, and with the question mark next to it. Anand likes bishop c4 and says the position is still okay at the knight f6 check. But I think queen f4 is probably more challenging for black. So for instance, queen b3, knight g6, knight g2, sorry. King d8, and they still got a game here. Let's say h4 makes some room for the white king. Rook f8, and now knight f6. The king is still running. So queen f4 is definitely interesting move here. Bishop c4 is what he gives, and then he goes knight f6 and king d8, and he takes the time to note that if king e7, rook take, his tactics, of course, on queen d7, rook takes c4, rook b1, rook c7, and white is winning. So king d8, and now he gives this move queen e4. But instead of queen e4, he says knight e4 and rook b1. So not to drown you in variations, but the position is very complicated and it's hard to meet this move in time trouble. So he played queen b3. Now the knight f6 check, king d8, and knight takes d5. And of course, time trouble, he probably missed this idea or definitely misjudged it. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, and then e6 with this hit on the rook on h8. He played king e7. If rook f8 and king e7, and a move like that is just killer. Queen c7, king e8, and now you play rook c3 with the idea of playing rook e3. So this means you're going to give up the queen. This is why the rook couldn't really be salvaged. Same thing, rook e8, then simply e takes f7. Then if rook f8, then just queen f6, king d7, then just queen c6, king e7, queen c7, and then black is going to get mated. So he missed this idea of knight taking d5, e takes, and then this pawn push. So king e7, and now play rook c3 when he could have just played rook c7. Again, I'm not sure if he was in time trouble actually, but rook c7 is definitely the basic winning move. Just driving the king out into the open. The king takes e6, queen f4, rook f8. It's just a matter of just driving the king into the mating net. But rook c3 was played, queen b5, now rook c7, and you can see the same concept, just moving the king into the right place. And after move 35, Dreev had resigned, and Viswanathan Anand was the winner of his candidates match against Alexei Dreev, winning 4 games to 1 with the 1 draw. So there was a lot of decisive games, a lot of combative chess here. And even though Dreev lost 4 games, I mean, all of the games were tough contested games, and a lot of them just were decided on blunders, one move, errors in very sharp positions, which could happen, and that's why there were so many decisive victories. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we're gonna look at some more matches, and so we'll see you on the next video.